Hi, I'm Lou Belch with the Corrigan Group, lobbyist for the Indiana CPA Society. With me today is Representative Bob Heaton. I'd like to thank you for joining us today, Bob, and I'd like you to introduce yourself and your district to the membership.
Okay, Lou. Well, I am in House District 46, which includes 4 different counties. Vigo County, Southern Vigo County, Southern Clay County, most of Owen County, and the western part of Monroe County. So if you've ever been from Terre Haute down to Bloomington, you're going to be traveling on Highway 46, and so it is my district. Highway 40 is District 46, but basically a lot of good people, a lot of rural areas out there. But I enjoy working with the people down in that district.
In your relationship with constituents, can you share with the membership what's important?
Well, I tell you, in talking to my constituents, whether it's at the fair or at a third house or whatever it may be, you got to remember a lot of times they may have an issue that you and I might think is about that big, but to them it's as big as this building. It's something where, first of all, I think you have to be a good listener, as a legislator. You got to listen to their needs and listen to their issues that they have. But when you say something that you're going to get back to them, well, you get back to them. Whether it's via email or a phone call or whatever it may be. But they really do appreciate that.
And Bob, when the legislature comes in, you'll be flooded with probably 1,500 pieces of legislation to review. How is it best for a constituent to communicate with you about those specific issues that are in front of you?
Well, a lot of times they may give me a call or send me an email about House Bill 1121 or whatever it happens to be, and that bill may not have even come through the hearing yet, but they know it's at least on my constituents' radar, so to speak, and so they're always being proactive on letting me as well as my colleagues know that that could be coming down the pike. Senator Long told me last year that it is truly a process, and that's something we have to remember, because you might think you're going to get a bill through, and it might get through the House, but when it goes over the Senate, it may not even get a hearing. It's not totally dead, but because it could go to conference committee and get put into something. But chances are, sometimes you think you may have the best bill in the world, but if it doesn't get a hearing in the Senate, you just may have to wait till next year.
Well, Bob, in previous sessions, you've supported pieces of legislation advanced by the Indiana CPA Society. In fact, I believe one year you were the sponsor of the bill in the House. What leads you to make a decision to either offer a piece of legislation or support it in the House?
Well, Lou, I have a lot of friends, or some, I guess, that are CPAs and work in this particular field. Matter of fact, I have a son-in-law, Andrew Russell, back in Terre Haute. He works for a firm in the Terre Haute area, but of course he'll be at the breakfast. But he's, it's just good piece of legislation. I work in the financial institutions. I have my own financial services agency, and I work with tax attorneys, CPAs, and so forth, trust officers. And a lot of times, you work with these professionals, and it's just good policy, I think, in working with them.
Governor Pence has proposed a $1 billion tax decrease on businesses. Obviously, $1 billion is going to have to replace that from somewhere else. How will you make your decision on how to replace that revenue?
Well, Lou, I tell you, it's one thing I learned 3 years ago when I came into the General Assembly is I always want to get more information from both sides of the issue. And this is one thing where, in dealing with different professionals like the CPA Society and the CPAs that can provide us information to me and my colleagues, when we look at those numbers, and that's what it's going to boil down to, look at those kind of numbers and see if we take away here, and some of our mayors out there want to bring more revenue in, how's the best way to solve that problem if there is a deficit, if you will. My colleagues and I, we've already even talked about it. And I think it's something that we'll continue to talk about during the session and see where we can hash things out. But when it comes down to the numbers, we just have to see where it does shake out. But again, we depend on people like the CPAs to provide us with this valuable information.
Well, Bob, I'd like to thank you for your time today and
Okay.
look forward to working with you this session.
Thank you, Lou. I appreciate it. And when it comes to the #1 lobbyist in the hallway, I always, a lot of my colleagues look to you.